All right, all right. Let those notifications go out. Yeah, we're gonna cover the importance of watching out for monitoring spirits. But first, I'm gonna get. I usually would do the countdown. I was trying to see if there was a way that I could download his video. I shared the link in the comments there, but I'm gonna play it for you all as well on my phone. So in the meantime, let me go ahead and do our usual check. Uh, Thank you for your continued patience. But you're going to hear more about this message. It's very important. Very important. Okay. 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 I'm just getting the message about adding moderators to our live streams, and we might do that in the future. Sure. Moderators to help us monitor the chat as we continue. So thank you everyone for your continued patience once again as we get back on track one day at a time. And I know that we have monitoring spirits for this ministry as well. And I want y'all to understand that monitoring spirit can be anyone. Anyone you know and anyone you don't know. Complete strangers. I've spotted at least 3 right here. I sure have. I've spotted at least 3. And so as things continue to, I know. There's a lot of people who have Wi-Fi issues and things like that. But I also know that there are some who like to just pop in and see how we're doing. We're doing great. Thank you. Thank you for checking in. Yeah, thank you. I know. Thank you for checking in, but we're doing just fine. Absolutely. We're doing wonderful. Yeah, I got a copy of my late grandpa's book that is so close to in alignment with what we teach and preach in this ministry. It's wowing me. Okay, see, I don't have any fans on right now. Hang tight, y'all. Hang tight for just a moment. Yeah, hang tight. Hang tight. Hang tight. Because we've had this happen before. And it's not my computer. I gotta check and see what's going on. Because it could be raining. And that it is. Okay. I just want to make sure. See, I wanted to make sure that that's what it was. And it is raining. That's raining pretty hard out there right now. All right, everybody. So, yeah, if you can hear that, it's raining. It is raining. So, yeah, monitoring spirits. You want to watch out for those. And I know we've got a few here. For this ministry as well. Chosen one, none of us are exempt from that. And the devil needs monitoring spirits. Okay, because he's not omnipresent. So when we're in here, out of sight, out of mind, per se, he doesn't even know what we're doing until we get up here and go live. And he sends his monitoring spirit to check in. He sure does. And so we're not oblivious to that. And it's all that he can do because, he doesn't know. Listen, y'all, this is another reason why we're big about being careful when you speak and to whom you speak. Because we know that narcissists will misinterpret what we say. And they do it deliberately. Yeah. It's on purpose with them. Because, that's right. They can't understand our speech. So I need to get up here and tell y'all that you want to pay attention. Not walking on eggshells or anything like that. It is simply staying sober and vigilant, like God instructs us to do. Because our adversary, the devil, is always roaming about, seeking whom he can devour. So we want to remember that if you start to notice seemingly weird thing happen after you've been out and about and you come back in, right? You go back home and you'll be able to spot it in the neighborhood. If you're in a neighborhood, you will be able to spot. Oh yeah, you'll be able to spot the monitoring spirit because they won't even know. Okay, they won't even know that that's what they are. Because remember, they are demonically possessed and don't know it. But you can tell because, chosen one, we have that gift of spiritual discernment. So we're able to tell. Okay, we are able to tell when someone is a monitoring spirit. And it can even be, someone on the streets. Because, especially if you frequent an area for, let's say, your daily walks, things like that. Yeah. So, in fact, I had one, but luckily she's moved on. But, and the reason she's been able to move on is because the devil has been able to get at least a couple, right? Right on this side of the building. And we're not oblivious to it. And a couple of them. And then the third one is in another building that I've identified. So we've got to remember that monitoring spirits are sent so that their demon spirit can see how we're doing. And what are they looking for with me? They're looking for the same thing that the Jezebels, who are also monitoring spirit, who check in on these live streams from time to time, they're looking for bruises, because the bruises on a body give the devil and his demonically possessed biological being the illusion that we are in pain and suffering. We're not. We are in a very, very, very real season of self-care, that's all. But we're not in pain and suffering. But the monitoring spirits are sent to see if we are. And so that's what they're doing. When you notice a monitoring spirit, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for, let's say, bruising. They're looking to see if you are in any kind of pain and suffering. They're looking to see, all kinds of things. Posture. Looking to see if your body heat is normal or higher than it should be. They're looking for all kinds of things. Now, how will they know that? Okay, they're checking for any redness in the eyes. They're listening to speech to see if there's any speech impairment. Because your circulation would be a little off if any of that was showing. So they're also looking for that. They're looking to see if whatever it is a narcissist tried to do worked. And I want to remind chosen one, once you get fully healed and you make it to the other side of that rainbow, that's it. Your subconscious is awake and you're getting more awareness. It doesn't matter what the devil tries to do. He's not going to be able to put your subconscious back to sleep. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So just be mindful of that. So real quick, I want to share with you all a shocking thing. I was not going to play this until I should see a couple or a few of you, because it's very important. I put the link to what I'm about to share with you in the chat, okay? And it blew my mind when I came across it, so hang tight. I'm going to turn the volume up here in just a second. I mean, it's just, but I'm thankful for this truth.
Why you should stop saying the word blessed. It is not a positive word. The origins of the word blessed actually meant to consecrate with blood or to sprinkle blood on a demonic altar, the altar of a pagan deity. You see, it was used in pagan rituals. The original word that was written in the scriptures was barak, or for blessing, barakah. That word actually translates to exalt, as a word for respect, like to kneel down. So the original word that Yahuwah intended for us to use was barak, and it translates to exalt or respect. It does not mean bless. This means to sprinkle blood on a pagan altar. Stop using this word. I hope this was helpful. Shalom. This is why you should stop saying the word bless. It is not a positive.
It's just, yeah, that blew my mind too. But I said it makes sense, because the more we learn about this satanic world that we live in, things like that. Yes, hello. I had to share that Barack video from TikTok, and I also put the link in there for you all. Yes, I know, that's why I sent it to you, Chris, because I knew that was gonna that's an eye opener right there. And so the only tip I have for y'all is, if we've got that word in comments, and we do, we're not going to go through all of our materials and remove the comments with that word in it. No, it just means from here going forward. Okay, from this day, with that God revelation, this day going forward, we're going to use the word Barak. And then I also, I had a posting, and I'm glad that I didn't post it yet. And now I know why, because I had put God bless you on it. And that comes across my feed today. I didn't post it yesterday like I wanted to. Godspeed. That's why I had to come across that video about using the word blessed, because that's not, it doesn't mean what we think. So I said, well then, yeah, it's an eye-opener for sure. Another one of those wow moments in God's reality. And so, yeah, I know we're going to have to, we got to learn to stop saying that word and use the word Barak. Yep. Well, you always had a funny feeling about it. Well, now you know why. Like it doesn't work somehow. And so we talk about, we talk about God blessing us. And it's right. I mean, yeah, we have to we have to rethink. This is another part of purging that subconscious while we watch out for monitoring spirits. Yeah. And so God knows that we didn't know until we knew. And now that we know, we're going to work hard at yeah. And so I think that's what he said, blessing means baraka. So God barakas us. Okay? It may sound a little strange, but we'll get used to it. Yeah. That's why I saved that video. And I probably will watch it several times till it's just sink in. And right. Well, it's the intention though. Yeah. We are so used to associating that word with right in the context. And we are so used to it supposing to be a positive thing, and it's not. Yeah, okay, you can do that. You can do that. I'm coming across quite a bit on TikTok regarding radio frequencies. So we're not alone here. Yeah, so this ministry is dedicated to combating that radio frequency for healthier living while watching out for monitoring spirits and learning certain words in our vocabulary need to go. And yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, monitoring spirits, you all. It again, like I said in the very beginning, it can be anyone that you know, and it can be anyone you don't know. It can be a complete stranger that you've never seen before. You've never interacted with them. And we know that there are monitoring spirits for this ministry because the devil doesn't want to see this ministry succeed. Well, I have news for you all. We are already successful. We are already successful because we launched. We've been successful since we've been on Quora, where the ministry started. It's all about mindset. That's what my late grandpa's book talks a lot about too, with the subconscious mind. And it really is all about mindset. Why else are we in a spiritual battle for the mind? Of course. Because, exactly, the devil wants to get the illusion of control and power over our thoughts. Because our thoughts are spiritual power. Even my late grandpa in his book said, well, I got a little pamphlet, but he did say that thoughts govern our lives. What are we preaching and teaching at CHA? That thoughts are spiritual power. Our thoughts control our nervous systems, especially the autonomic nervous system. And my late grandpa, as you will learn more about, I only got to see him a few times as a child before the Jezebel mother isolated my dad by moving us all out to North Carolina from California. So I remember him. I mean, I got very vague memory, but I remember him, and I didn't know that he was a doctor. Now I do. And I'm joyful because he not only did not go into the matrix the way the matrix would want him to, he went the all-natural route. Herbs, all natural. He had an all-natural practice. And that's just right up our alley right there. Because God provides a whole lot right there in nature for our healing. We do it. And That's why we're big on herbal supplements. And then, of course, if you do need a little extra magnesium or what have you during the detoxing, that's the other thing. So we always consult with God about that. But I have some questions next time I talk to my dad about things, because I find it to be not coincidental at all that he decided to send me a copy of his dad's book, copyrighted in 1954. So, right, it's not a coincidence, because I had told my biological dad a few of the things that we teach in this ministry, and purging the subconscious and how our thoughts control our ANS. I've mentioned that to him, and something reminded him of his dad's writing, and he wanted me to know that we're teaching and preaching a lot of what he did in many ways. It's not a coincidence, because I've always preferred the herbal, all natural, homeopathic routes anyhow. I've been like that the majority of my life. My preferences have always been all natural, homeopathic, holistic, if you will. That's always been our thing. And now I know why. Because our thoughts control our ANS and our central nervous system as well. What we think is extremely powerful. How we think is extremely powerful. And that's why we learn to be more mindful of what we're thinking. Because my late grandpa knew all about the mind control. He knew about it too. So, it's no wonder that package didn't make it to my P.O. box. And it got sent back to my dad, but we finally got it. Because of the content and the information that's in there is highly valuable. And we're going to be bringing more of it to you all, because it goes right in line with our movement to combat radio frequency for healthier living. Healthier living, being happier, and even more successful than we already are. Yeah, well, he was a medical doctor, from what I'm understanding. I will get confirmation on that, but but he chose the all natural route. Yep, that's great. Yep, that's what the errant package was. Yep, it was my grandpa's book and a couple of little pamphlets that go with it. It's right. It's in the genes, GENES. So So that being said, my dad's not a monitoring spirit. We talk every once in a while. I'll check in. Now, is his book still available? I will have to check into that. Let me take a note, y'all. I'll have to look into that. And if it is, all I know is Dad said he didn't have copies left. So I'm not sure. It would really depend on because it was published and copyrighted in 1954, so it would have to be whether or not a family member carried on the legacy. I've got the title and things like that. I'm going to get some covers for the pages and things like that. And I don't really know how old he was when he wrote that book. I don't know. Right. And yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get answers for you, and I'll bring it to you all as soon as possible. Okay, because that's a lot, some of those questions are questions I have as well. So I'll get the answers from my dad next time I talk to him. So let's get back into the monitoring spirit because that's important too. But I wanted to share some good news with you all because monitoring spirits, they're sent to collect data spiritually, and physically. So because we know that those monitoring spirits are monitoring our healing progress, is what they're doing. They want to see if we are in any pain and suffering. They want to see if we're having any issues breathing, any health issues is what they're looking for. Because remember, the devil targets our health because he does not want us dependent on God. He wants us dependent on man. Chosen one, we don't do that. And they're also looking for, monitoring spirits are also looking for any kind of discomfort, because discomfort, just like bruising, will give their demon spirit, who will report back to the devil, giving them the illusion of pain and suffering. Because that is what the devil and these narcissists out here, that's what they feed on. Because it makes them feel better for a brief moment. If others are in pain and suffering, it makes them feel superior. They feed on that stuff. It's like, it's crazy, but they do. Monitoring spirits are sent to see if we're in any kind of pain and suffering, to see how we're doing, to see if anything these narcissists tried to do actually worked on us. But chosen ones, nah. We get fully healed and we continue going forward, not backwards. But the monitoring spirits are just sent basically to spy. Nothing to be afraid of. No. You do what you got to do. But it's like you take note. Because I've got one and I have caught on to what they're doing. I suspect it's like little sugar water capsule type thingy. Because every once in a while I'll hear a smack out there. I know what they're doing. Right. I know exactly what they're doing. And so, like I said, that they're looking for, well, I know here, okay, that if you all see anything, right, they healing. But those Jezebel monitoring spirits like to check in and see if there's still any bruising anywhere, because it gives them that illusion of pain and suffering. When, are we good? We good. We're good. But we catch on to what they're doing because the devil has no new tricks. And so let me share with you all a little thing that took place and why this one monitoring spirit, or all of them, I don't know, but I know it's at least one of them that does this. Well, right, because they think that my autonomic nervous system is still responding to the sight of those animated salt molecules, and she's not. We good, because she even told me, she said, Mom, she said, I ain't responding. I had to think about, what did I just get done ice packing? Oh, circulation coming back. At that same time, I happened to turn around and there might be one there. And so it would give, right, so it tricked my amygdala into misinterpreting. That's right. So, yeah, but we're good. we're good now because we pay close attention to what we're doing. Okay? And in the previous environment, and I watched it, I noticed it, and I thought, boy, that's crazy. Crazy. But the male Jezebel, the first time this happened, I didn't really think anything of it. I thought it was unusual. And I may have shared this story before, but it fits because this is what, like the narcissist, the devil misinterprets things too, deliberately, because he wants to hang on to the illusion of people living. He wants to think that we're sitting here living in fear, and we're not, because we know that perfect love casteth out all fear, and that perfect love is God. So, because there's no reason to fear. The devil wants people to fear because he knows that what you fear is what you will attract. So, the animated salt molecule known as ants, if you will, in the previous environment, while the female JD was still alive, there was a day that came out, and in the living room, there's a spot. There's a cabinet, and a lamp sitting on one end, and then about catty-corner down on the wall, right before you have to step down a little bit into the kitchen, and the trash can being over there in the corner. But right there's a spot, and it had a bunch of those animated salt molecules just all, crazy over there. And he would walk over there, and he was watching them, and he had this pleasurable look on his face. And I'm like, okay. How did they, in just that one spot. And so I didn't think of anything at that time. But then the second time he did it, as she was on her deathbed, the same exact look of pleasure on his face, and he, right in the exact same spot. So I said to myself, what did he do to cause that? Well, the more we learn about how salt and sugars play a role in radio frequency poisoning, we're able to put 2 and 2 together. We're able to connect dots as we learn more about how salt and sugar, create more mucus inside the body to hold salt molecule for the radio frequency to heat up. And I said, okay, so what do we know about those animated salt molecules now? Well, that they don't actually eat food. They're looking for more salt and sugars, because I was watching them as they rub their hands together. What they're doing is generating heat, so that as they walk around or crawl around, if you will, a surface that has salt and sugar on it, they're able to pick it up. That's how they get bigger. That's how they grow. That's their food, salt and sugar. That's why if you see a food item, let's say somebody drops some French fries, and you see a bunch of them crawling all over those fries, they're not eating the fries. They're picking up the salt that's in those fries with their nice, warm, hot hand. Okay? That's what they're doing. That's how they get bigger. Until they try to come in here, and I use my flip-flop. Flat. Okay? But because the Jezebel in the previous environment did that, and I connected the dot, I said, he put some sugar water on that wall. That's the only thing that I could think of. So maybe salt and sugar water. Somehow he put something on that wall. We couldn't see it. It was clear. But those animated salt molecules hovering, circling around just that spot, and he having fun watching them. Yeah, don't ask. Okay? That's what happens when they're demonically possessed. So there is a monitoring spirit here. You gotta stick around to catch the connection. Why I'm sharing a story with you, because it's connected to the topic about monitoring spirit. But some people just don't have that kind of patience. Because the monitoring spirit, the devil has no new tricks. And the monitoring spirit, that because of their demonic possession, remember something. These demon spirits pass the baton to each other in the spiritual realm. So the monitoring spirit that's here, the human host has no idea why they're doing what they're doing. But every time I hear a right outside, then I know, right, because I shouldn't be hearing that out there. I mean, literally, like they just, you remember those stink bombs from high school? Those little capsules? And yeah, the mischievous kid would, and smell a rotten egg sulfur, right? They throw it down in the hallway. For those of you who had that happen, yeah. Okay, well, similar concept, okay, is what they're doing, because I noticed this morning on my way back from my walk that there was a spot right outside the door where some little ones were starting to do what the one did in the previous, in that one spot. And I went, oh, I see what you're up to, because a couple of days ago I heard that at the right outside. And I said, oh, I see what they're trying to do, because I have figured out that if I keep the front area, my porch, if you will, area swept off nice and neat, because of the sand, the salt, right? I've learned that if I get some water out there and whatever, it mitigates. In other words, it lessens the number of things that would be out there. Okay? So I figured that out. And because that's what they're looking for their food source. But there's one spot, right? Yeah, open the door and along the brick wall there at the bottom. I said, now what could possibly, I said, I know what's, now I know what that sound is. Because at first I thought it was my ice cube breaking, because they do that every once in a while in this thing. But it's sitting on the counter, and that sound coming from over here. And I said, wait a minute, that was definitely from outside. That was not my ice breaking apart. So the sound is very similar, but right, because I could tell the difference from whether or not it's in here or out there. The first time it happened, I was like, hold up a second. Where's that coming from? And then I thought it was the ice breaking, until this last time I said, okay, because I was standing over here next to my ice, right? My ice mug here, tumbler. And I heard it from behind. I said, that is from outside. Okay. And now I know what it is. And it's one of the monitoring spirits who, for whatever, well, we know why, because they're demonically possessed, but they're doing what the male Jezebel did in the previous house to attract those things outside my door. Because the devil is stupid. Okay, the devil is stupid, and so are his narcissists. Because they don't, right, that demon of assumption, wanting to, just because we talk about them, and I'm sharing with you all God's spiritual truths about them, and I just get more confirmation all the time with things that occur. So, yeah, and, Right, monitoring spirit can pass the baton between themselves if they know each other and gossip. That's true. That is very true. Thank you, Chris. Okay? Yeah, that the creepy thing with the sugar water trick, because, well, yeah, it, whatever the substance was, it had to be at least that and salt together. I mean, because that's what those things feed on. It's the salt and the sugar, not the food. They're not after us. Okay, they're just after the salt and the sugar that's in the foods. And I mean, yeah, same thing with gnats, by the way. Oh, yeah, okay. Those animated salt molecules, the gnats, they don't come from fruit. Nope. I discovered this because every once in a while we'll have one. Well, what is it that I have in my produce basket? Well, I got sweet potato, I got acorn squash, right? We've got some vegetables. Well, what's one thing we know those things come from, right? Dust. So yep, oh, and onions. So I noticed on one of my onions and a sweet potato previously, a little, because of where it's located, a little bit of that, a little dust had gotten on them. And I watched this little thing. Yep, because it got activated. And so it's just crawling around on the onion and the sweet potato to eat up and get more of that salt that's inside the dust so it can get, I mean, very tiny. But as it continues to consume the salts from the dust that's there, it gets a little bit bigger. And then it gets its ability to fly. And I said to myself, that's really interesting. So yeah, I did. I took the sweet potato and the onion and I rinsed them off. Got the dust up because they weren't bad. It's just a little bit of dust went there. Well, because in that area, there's the corner. Yeah, see, this is deliberate when they designed this place. Okay, when they designed the architectural layout of these studio apartments, it was deliberate because the corner on my counter there, okay, when you look up, there's an opening all the way up. My cabinets come out, okay, so there's like a triangle opening in that corner all the way up to the ceiling. Well, the ceiling has what on it? Paint. What's in the paint? Oh, a lot of chemical. Absolutely. And so it's not a surprise that every once in a while you would find some dust in that area on the counter. And then on my produce. Now, I moved my produce basket over, but still. So not as much dust get on that stuff. But yeah, gnats don't come from fruit. So you can purge that from your subconscious. Right, if they make it that far. Yep, they do. They can get pretty big if they make it that far. No, they don't breed in here. I got a flip-flop. They don't make it that far. And so, yep, from the joke shop, yep. Well, that's the thing, right? The gnat, right? They used to seem to appear out of nowhere in the kitchen, right? Now we know. Now we know. And it's from a dusty area. Remember, frequency and vibration. What activates those things? What activates those? Anything from the garbage disposal, dishwasher, the little bit of frequency coming from the refrigerator here, right? The frequency that comes. I mean, you have to really let that sink in, y'all, because we are. Okay, we are energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay, let me go ahead and find this because it could be something when I'm doing my podcast episode. Okay. That can activate them. Music, watching a video, turn the volume up. That can activate them. I found that out when I played one of my Wage Wars songs in here one evening. I found that out. I said, whoa, that activated that. Okay. And so the more salt and sugar they can find, that's how they grow. And yeah, I mean, it's just a thing. And that's why there's no reason to be afraid of them suckers. Because they're just animated salt molecule looking for more salts and sugars. You know, it's not a coincidence that narcissists, many of them, okay, even if they do go on a healthy to lose weight, they're only doing that to go and find fresh new supply. Okay, that's all. But generally speaking, many of them are big on the junk foods and adding more salt. So that's not a coincidence that animated salt molecules are doing the same thing. Parasites, right? They're looking for more salts and sugars. That's how those things grow. And well, the environment has to have enough frequency to keep them animated. This is why sometimes I'll wake up and there's one that tried to make it. Tried. But couldn't find enough. Right, because I keep this floor swept and dusted very well. So we starve them of their supply. That's why I said the best pest control is keep your environment as dust-free as possible. It's that simple. So, well, yeah, and you can get the traps, the sticky traps. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them, you can get them at the store. So a few of those will help mitigate that as well. Because they can't see in the dark. In fact, I don't think they can see. I think they can only smell. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, but I don't believe they actually have sight. I believe they have energy. So the only reason they run away from us, right, the only reason those animated salt molecules run away from us is because they can, it's the energy, spiritual energy that they can sense. Of course they can, because radio frequency is animating them. So if there's not enough frequency inside the environment, they don't make it, because it's the frequency that keeps them activated. Why do you think these narcissists, it's the frequencies that activate them too. Yeah, they work on scent. That's where I'm leaning, because I was like, they don't see us, but they can sense us. Right, and well, they can smell. So we all have a unique odor about ourselves. So those things, they do have a sense of smell, obviously, because you can smell salt and you can smell sugars. So it's not a surprise. Yeah, and not only just for gnats, but for ants and stuff like that too. Well, our skin can be salty. But I will tell you that they're not after us, because our bodies get rid of that. So, right, they're not after us, and they're not after our food. Yeah, they just want the salt and sugars. And so it's no different that a monitoring spirit, well, yeah, the human host would know. that they're doing something, but they don't know why. And so I would have to say that the animated salt molecule, they do look lost. So, yeah, you got to remember that it is what it is. But we do. Right. Well, right. They eat honey and sugars from the plants. Absolutely. Yeah, they're right. They're not looking where they're going. They're smelling and scenting. Exactly. Yep. Well, it's a similar concept when we talk about how narcissists. Well, you got to remember, if they are a monitoring spirit, then they are a narcissist. Absolutely. Because chosen one, we don't. Yeah, chosen ones don't do that. Chosen ones don't. Yeah, we're not demonically possessed. And we're not. Yeah, we are on Team Godhead. We are God soldiers. So, yeah. If you spot a monitoring spirit, then yes, that is a narcissist. And I've already seen the toddler-like pouting behavior of one of the monitoring spirits. It was quite funny, too, because she tried to play it off when she looked and realized I was standing there. With arm across the chest, stomping under the feet. And she straightened up real quick when she saw me standing there. I didn't say nothing. Because her dude, when she's walking towards him, he was over there on the phone with somebody else. Classic. But anyhow, yeah. Well, and that's it. The narcs who are monitoring spirit, they will scent us out. Yep, that's why we say the narcissists are out here sniffing to see who still has their hearts on their sleeves. That's who they'll target. If they can sense that our empathy switch is still all the way on, that gives them the green light to try. And it used to work until we learned to get control of ourselves and our empathy and stop giving it to them. Exactly. So never forget that important point. But a monitoring spirit is definitely going to be a narcissist. So, well, and then there's a male one who showed his true colors in the laundry room already, acting like a spoiled brat. And he was chasing after this lady. I caught on to what he was doing. He was trying to. She want nothing to do with him. She's a sweetheart. I mean, as far as I know, and I don't see anything sinister with her. But she's minding her own business. He was trying to chase after her. But she wasn't having none of it. And so I've seen her out walking and stuff like that. And we say hi to each other. But he finally got the hint that she wasn't going to go for him. And he had to stop chasing her. I thought that was so funny. Right after I moved in, I picked up on that one. Oh, yeah, just like the toddlers and adult bodies that they are. But he was trying to act self-righteous and as if he had special privileges to the machine because he was there. Whatever. There was another dude who spoke up and put him in his place. So, but no, that dude, not so much. Not these days. Because, like I said, I have a notebook, and I do have his license plate number copied down. So, but yeah, no, they do eventually have to get the hint that we're not going to fall for them. And so they have to stop. Remember, resist the devil and he shall flee, right? That's what it's all about. We resist the devil and he shall flee. So, right, once they finally get it that there's no opening for them, they have to flee. Because we are resisting the devil. Because if they're a narcissist, well, then they are demonically possessed. And they are used as monitoring spirits. Right. Treating the machine in the laundry room like his own personal property. Yeah, exactly. That's what narcissists do. Yeah, that's what narcissists do. They think that everything is theirs. I know. That's their mindset. That is their mindset. So, yeah, we've covered quite a bit today, and I didn't know that we were going to cover some of the animated salt molecules, but it fit in line with the story that I had to share because of the monitoring spirit that trying to recreate that based on their demon of assumption that somehow bothers me. No, it doesn't bother me, but it's unnecessary. It is unnecessary. Everything they do is unnecessary anyway. But the monitoring spirit, remember, they're sent to watch what we're doing when they can see us. This is why staying low key is part of how we thrive as a chosen empath when we're not out and about. Because when we go out and about, especially unpredictably, we upset the apple cart every single time. Because we are shining our light. We don't let anyone or anything dim our light anymore. No, because Jesus is the light of the world. And it's no longer us who walk, but Christ who walks through us. They ain't going to put that light out. But the Matrix don't like the light. That's too bad. Because the Matrix needs chosen ones who are problem solvers. Yep. You heard me. So there you go, everybody. Just stay awake, aware, and vigilant, and you'll catch the monitoring spirit. You'll notice. Because, okay, here's one thing that you'll see them do. Because, well, one thing we know about narcissists, they're nosy, right? Okay, well, we know that when we're out of sight, out of mind, that they ain't even, they're so engrossed in their own, right? Okay, so you got to remember that too. But as soon as we venture out, and they happen to catch us getting into our car, and suddenly they come outside, and they're on their device, or maybe a couple of them are talking to each other or whatever, but they're right. And I sat there for a moment, taking a sip of my ice water, and I noticed that's right, that they were glancing at me while trying to pretend as though they were on their phone, looking at their phone. You see? That's what they're doing. You can tell when they're doing that. So, well, of course they can't behave like normal people. They're not normal. Narcissists are not normal. Oh, well, now listen, they can be friendly and polite. They could say hey, they say hello. Oh, they sure do. And you got to also remember that a monitoring spirit can also be someone who is polite and says hello to you and asks how you're doing. And then you return the favor. They can also be a monitoring spirit. So you have to be mindful. Yep, it's like a scene from the Matrix with, like Neo, you mean? Yeah. Well, they do say hi. I can care less who they are. I already know they're a narcissist. So I don't need to know their names. It don't matter to me. And I know that they're monitoring spirits. So we're just staying vigilant. Yeah. So, it really is amazing because the devil needs us out here as well, chosen one. How else is he going to know whether or not his radio frequency poisoning is working? That's right. That's another reason that he sends monitoring spirits to watch and see if his radio frequency poisoning tactics are actually working on us. Not anymore. Not anymore. We're detoxing. That's all there is to it. So, just like with the narcissist, let them think what they want to think. Let the devil think what he wants to think. Because I know he's confused. Because we've made some additional dietary changes, putting some things back in our diet for nutritional reasons. And he thinks that we've given up and given in because that's what the Jezebel female did before she passed away. She gave up and gave in and just started eating all kinds of junk food, fast food, stuff like that. So now we're not doing that. No. We're being mindful with what we do. In other words, buying a loaf of whole wheat bread, something I've not done in years. But yeah, because God told me to put that back in my diet. And it's not a coincidence that, yeah, right, with which the word one, right, okay, right, actually, it could be the change of season, but if you're having that kind of a cough, that, well, it could be, but check your air quality in the environment. Check the air quality. Because, it could be. It could have something to do with that, but just check your air quality. All right? And if you are running an air conditioner and it has filters, check that filter. And then, of course, stay hydrated. But if you're still detoxing, that's part of it. Because there's going to be things that, well, if you are coughing a little bit, then, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of right now, to check that air quality. Yeah, it's got to be, because that thing doesn't exist. That's a make-believe virus. It doesn't exist. What a man thinketh in his head, so is he, right? So, but I know you used that word to give me a visual, but yeah, check that air quality, stay hydrated, and if you're still detoxing, you'll get through that. This too shall pass. Remember, yeah, none of the things that we experience symptom-wise as we're detoxing from radio frequency poisoning, right, it's going to seem as though. And so, right, you want to remember that you are detoxing from a fever-induced state. Okay? So keep that in mind, everybody. But that wraps up today's discussion. A lot to unpack. So for those of you who want to learn more, you can always do so on the replay. Yep, by catching some more information about the monitoring spirit and the animated salt molecules and that story, because it ties into what a monitoring spirit trying to do. And right, it's just all part of the devil's shenanigans trying to instill fear. Because if he can instill fear, or let's just say reinstill fear in us, that gives him a stronger illusion of power and control over us. He ain't got that on Chosen One when we are not living in fear. We know we have no reason to. We are walking and living by faith. Glory be to God. So, right, it's like living in Narnia, forever cold and moody. Oh, well, okay. Wow. Okay. Right. We will catch more of the John Truth on TikTok as I shared that. Also, briefly with you all, and that link is at the very top of this live chat. Right. We'll tell the devil to go away, and we don't entertain that nonsense. You got that right. All right, everybody. So there you go. Yes. Thank you. Always sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.